Yo friends, welcome to Next Level Consciousness with Linnea Stella. We are back for part 5 of the 6-part manifestation series, so we're almost there. Congratulations for making it so far. If you haven't watched video 1 through 4, you can just do it after this video. It doesn't really matter the order. But the intention behind this series is really that I have identified all the parts of the manifestation process where you can get trapped up, where things can go wrong, and also practical exercises for how to debug these things and solve them for good so that you can start to manifest effortlessly, because that's what you're meant to do. Today it is time for one of my favorite topics, which is trust. Trust you can also talk about in manifestation contexts, about surrendering, about letting go. And we can have a lot of limitations around trust. So the first thing that I want to say to you is that it is 100% possible for you to trust and to learn how to trust. Because as I shared in a previous video, I have been in a state of constant anxiety, even panic attacks, and the need to control my reality, to overthink, and it's not a nice state to be in. And yet now I'm in a state where I am just trusting and I am following my intuition, even and especially when it doesn't make sense. And my life has just been 100 times more fun and free and magical, and I have had experiences that I could never have had from my old state of being. And this is not to say that you're doing something wrong if you're not there yet, but just to show you that it is so possible, with the right intention, with the motivation to turn things around. And the steps that you will learn in this video is going to help you a lot. When we feel like it's not safe to trust, it is often because we base our perception of reality, or what is possible to experience and manifest, from a limited past, from what has been possible in the past. Because the brain is just wired to repeat the past day, so we are in this Groundhog Day state of reliving the same day. I don't remember how many percentage, but it's like 90 maybe percent, 95 even, of your thoughts are repeated from the day before if you don't make a conscious effort to change that. So today my invitation is to make a conscious effort to change the thought that you can't trust, if that is a thought, or rather a belief that you have. We're gonna look at how to do this on a belief level also. And what you can do instead that is gonna be so much more helpful for you is to align with and connect to the infinite future. Because in spiritual truth, we live in a quantum universe where anything is possible. And also I want to say that surrendering doesn't mean that you are passive and that you are giving up and that you're not doing anything. Because if you watch the video from day 4, from yesterday when I'm filming this, you know that sometimes an inspired action is needed to be taken. And I think that some people in the manifestation communities, they can use surrender as an excuse not to take action. And that is just gonna delay your manifestations. So I will explain exactly how you can do to surrender. But first, the thing with trust is that just like I said that you're constantly manifesting, you already trust. You're already really good at trusting. Because if you feel like it's not safe to trust, then you trust in that. You trust in that it is not safe to trust. That was a lot of trust. And you can also think of the Amazon analogy that you maybe heard if you watch other manifestation videos. But if you place an order on Amazon, you are not gonna sit every moment and think like, is it really gonna come to me? Am I really gonna get this thing? You're just gonna trust that it will get delivered. If you don't live in Paris, because I lived in Paris for a couple years and it's like a 50-50 chance of getting your packages. Whatever, you get what I mean. You trust that when you place an order, it will come to you. Your manifestations are no different. So I just want you to open your mind to the fact that if it hasn't been working for you before, it is probably because you haven't nailed step 1 through 4. And that is why I really, really encourage you to go and do the exercises, because when you do those exercises, it will also get so much easier to trust. You will help yourself so much when you come to the state of actually starting to embody and create trust. Because trust is not as much a decision. Well, it's always start with an intention, but it's something that you embody, something that you believe to be possible. And as for the other parts of manifesting, I also want to take away the pressure, because pressure just collapses manifesting like a house of cards. And I want to invite you to play with the thought of, what if I can trust just 1% more than yesterday? Just play with the tiny changes, pushing the edges of your comfort zone and what you think is possible a tiny bit. That is enough. Because when you do this consistently, it compounds over time. And if you have problems with consistency, you know what it is? Go back and look at what belief is telling you that you can't be consistent, or that it is not safe to be consistent. It all comes back to limiting beliefs when we feel blocked around something, or around believing that we can do something. Because trust and manifesting is just like a muscle. You don't go to the gym with no muscles, or like very weak, and then you come out looking like I do. Or looking like a bodybuilder. You build it over time. And it can be a little harder with these metaphysical or spiritual concepts, because you don't see the evolution the way you do when you go to the gym and you stand and admire your beautiful body in the mirror. But I promise you, it's the same thing. So just be open to these ideas. That's what I share these things with you. Even if you don't accept them fully, be open to it. I am feeding your subconscious mind right now with things that will help you. And if there's a part of the manifestation process that feel extra challenging to you, of all of the 6 videos, I also encourage you to go and watch it over and over. Because that way you will get the repetition that will help your subconscious mind believe that, yes, I am a master manifestor. So with that said, let's go over to today's exercises. So we welcome in the famous whiteboard. The exercises that I want you to do today is, the first step is to look at your fears. And when it comes to trust, there can often be quite deep-seated fears, especially core wounds. So core wounds are our deepest seated limiting beliefs that we often carry from childhood. And the thing around trust is that the core wounds we can have is, I will be betrayed, which means it's not safe to trust, or I am unsafe. And these are often quite deep, but they can still be reprogrammed, because they are the same as all the other limiting beliefs. For example, I am not good enough, I can't do this. It's nothing on a biological level other than a neural pathway in your brain that you are used to use. So the good news is that you can just reprogram these core wounds telling me that I will be betrayed, it is not safe to trust, whatever it comes, but you know best. So you know best which fears are blocking you from trusting. And maybe it can also help you to look at past experiences and why didn't it feel safe to trust? Maybe you have some negative experiences, but also in the reprogramming process, and I encourage you to go back to day 2 when we talked about beliefs to see how you can work with this by using proofs that the opposite of your fear of your limiting belief is true. You can also look at why it is actually safe to trust, because it is so powerful when we reprogram the subconscious to actually look at past situations, because they contain imagery and emotion, and imagery and emotion is the language of the subconscious. So by repetitively look at the images and emotions you want to have, or put yourself in the emotional state rather, you will create new neural pathways in your brain for the new belief that you want to have. For example, I am safe and it is safe to trust. So but these can often go back to childhood, and I would say that it's very common to feel unsafe, because maybe it hasn't been around manifesting, but you may have felt like it is not safe for me to express all parts of who I am, or express all emotions. I need to repress certain emotions to earn love. If you have that belief, or if that resonates on some level, that will be inflated by your mind and really extrapolated, so that you will think that it is not safe for me to trust in general, even if you're manifesting something that is not related to your emotions directly. For example, a new car. If you believe that it it is not safe for me to be all that I am, you will also repress your capability of trusting that your manifestations will come to you. It's all connected. So that's the beauty with manifesting, like to really own your manifestation capabilities and step into them fully. There is so much healing that comes along the way, and you will feel so much better on the daily. But really look into repetitively over 21 days, why is it actually safe for me to trust? When have I been in a situation before where I felt like, oh, I don't know if I can trust this, I don't know if this is gonna work out, and it actually did work out. And I promise you that you have had many of those situations before. So just give yourself credit for them, because that's gonna feed your subconscious, tell yourself that it's safe to trust, especially if you do this every night for 21 days, because that's the time it takes for the subconscious to build new neural pathways. But you can look, I know that you have those experiences because you're still here. It means you're still alive, which is great news. And you've probably been in some situations that felt a little dangerous, or that felt like, I don't know if I'm gonna make this in different ways, or maybe you felt like, oh, I felt so ashamed, or these people made fun of me. And maybe you applied for something and you're like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna get it, and then you still got it. Or you thought that I'm gonna miss this plane, I'm late to the airport, and you still made it. All the times when you didn't think that you would made it and it still worked out, I wanted to pull up them, because I promise you once again that you have many. You can see I'm so passionate about it, because I can feel what is possible for you, and there is so much goodness and magic that is waiting for you. But mastering trust little by little is such a key step that so many people get tripped up on. But do these exercises and it will help you so much. Okay, let's go over to the next exercises. Another thing that you can do to embody more trust is to look at A, the worst case scenario of your manifestations not coming true, and B, the best case scenario. So what I mean by this, so the worst case scenario means like, what am I afraid is gonna happen? Why don't I trust this? Okay, maybe you applied for your dream job and you're like, oh, what if I don't get it? So what is the worst case scenario? Let's say you don't get a job. Oftentimes, the worst case scenario is getting back at where you are in this very moment. But since the brain is wired for negativity, which is for survival reasons, to protect us, it often makes it seem like, oh, this is the end of the world if you don't get this job. While it's just, no, you're probably gonna get back to where you are. And it's positive because you are an experience richer. And you have the capability of taking care of yourself and to be kind to yourself and to not judge yourself if you have made that in the past. So it's really just an invitation from the universe to grow. So that can also help you take away the pressure, like, okay, I really, really need this to come true. And then look at the best case scenario. But what if you actually get the manifestation and just get hyped up about it? And maybe if you think about it, maybe you have even experienced something similar. Maybe you see people around you who have experienced something similar, and all of a sudden it feels less out of reach. And you feel like, yeah, I can actually trust that this thing is gonna come to me. Now, the last step on our list today is what I call positive distractions. Because often if we have a hard time trusting, what we do is that we go into control. And control comes really from this core wound of feeling like I am not safe, or it is not safe to let go, it's not safe to surrender, it is not safe to trust. And as I told you, like, these beliefs can come from childhood, and I really encourage you to look into it and to start to do the reprogramming exercises about it, because it really will change the biology of your brain. But positive distractions, by that I mean just do something that brings you genuine joy. I don't mean like go and binge eat or go and immerse yourself in watching like a series on Netflix that you don't really enjoy, or whatever distraction you have that maybe be less healthy. Take drugs or something like that. You can take mushrooms, but not as a distraction. What I mean is that do something that will shift your mind and your focus from this thing that you are like so focused on. I need to manifest this. And do something that brings you joy instead. And we saw that in the other steps too of the manifestation process. But if you have a hard time trusting, it will really help you to follow joy and to do some positive distractions that will actually help raising your vibration and releasing the resistance. And before you notice, the thing will have manifested into your physical reality. Congratulations. So that was all we had to cover for today. Thank you so much for being here with me. And we are back tomorrow for the last day.